4 of those are females. That is not a good percentage. She must be saying something really bad about females to be only 24 out of like millions. That is holy crap.
I would like to respond to your comment on the idiot millennials, as you like to refer to them, and I want to be measured in my response. But these kids were not raised in a vacuum. They were raised by the end tail of the baby boomers and some...
Here we go. She's about to respond to him, and it's not going to be with his opinion, and he's not going to be happy, and he's about to have only 23 female listeners.
The Generation X. So if you're going to have a messed up, as you have called them, the messed up idiots, they have some idiot parents that are also raising them.
Yeah, that's kind of true, and yeah. I'm waiting for him to cut her off. It's going to happen. I just brought up this freaking point that freaking the parents are kind of at fault too. I mean, I'm not saying millennials are stupid, but the parents are a little bit at fault. If they thought the millennials are stupid, they kind of caused that.
Because kids are not raised in a vacuum. They get their morals, their character from their parents. And furthermore, the millennials are not old enough to have voted for all of the crap that we have going on in our country right now.
That's true. That's pretty true. I don't know when this was made, but...
It was the baby boomers and the Generation Xers and even the older baby boomers that have voted for all of this stuff. And the millennials are going to have to be the ones that have to pay for it. I take such... This word is such a stupid word, but umbrage about what you said.
It is good, though, that he's not cutting her off yet. It's going to happen, but he hasn't done it yet.
I have 2 millennials, one who just graduated from Hillsdale College. I have done my darndest to raise productive human beings, and from my perspective, it is the parents' fault, not the millennials, because they're taking their cue from their parents.
His face just kind of like perfectly represents what he's thinking right now. He's just like, what is my rebuttal going to be to this? Am I going to say something stupid or something smart? Nah, let's just throw crap out of my mouth.
How would you define, what's a millennial in age? What's the age bracket for a millennial?
The millennials are about 31 down to about 17. In that...
Yes, I'm not a millennial. I mean, nothing that wrong with millennials, but I just want a cooler name, because millennials, they kind of got a bad rap, and their name isn't very cool, so... I think if I was going to put a vote in on the name, I would say bleach smokers.
Right, I mean...
All right, so let's...
Yeah, how are parents not offended by this? I mean, this guy is literally telling them that their children are like monsters, that they raised monsters, that their parenting reflects their children, or their children reflect them. And he's saying that they are monsters too, by that way. Because, like, he's saying that they raised zombies, monsters, and terrible people. And... the parents are taking the cue from the other parents all the way back to this guy's generation. So, I mean, technically it's his fault.
Turn the clock back 15 years when they were babies, some of them, when I was talking on the radio about their so-called mothers.
So-called mothers.
In coffee houses, feeding them a piece of cake and a coffee or a chocolate in the morning.
Who feeds their baby pieces of cake and chocolate? Like, you can feed them that maybe when they're like 3 or 4, maybe when they get older, but like he's saying they're a baby. When I hear baby, I think like they're not able to walk yet.
After all the hard work that I did and millions and others did in nutrition, to teach about the dangers of sugar and caffeine to a child in particular, to see these mothers doing this to them simply, they were too lazy to make them a breakfast. They figured just stuff them with something and a Ritalin pill and send them off to school. Don't you think that has something to do with their mindlessness?
Oh, bull crap. You guys did this hard work in nutrition. Like, you guys did some work, but I don't believe that you guys cared about nutrition. I mean... what other health risks did you guys care about? You guys didn't care about smoking. That's for freaking sure. You guys didn't care about freaking any other health risks other than nutrition. You might have cared about nutrition, but you definitely didn't care about all the other health risks. Smoking, all that crap. Alcohol, drinking and driving, everything.
Yes.
No, I don't think that has, because we're talking about two different things. You're talking about nutrition, and what I'm talking about right now is the potential destruction of this country. And if we do make it, sugar and caffeine will be the last thing on their mind.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you. The reason the millennials are vacuous in general and have almost no conscience, no social conscience, they agree with anything that is thrown in their direction.
But that's still a reflection of your parenting. And now you're just bringing up random crap. You're saying if you feed babies cake, they're going to be idiots. They're going to be monsters, and they're going to be soulless. That is idiotic. At best, idiotic.
Because they were raised as little liberal robots. One of the reasons for that is that they were drugged since they're children, many of them. In one way or another, they were raised on medication. Don't you understand that?
He does seem to change the topic a lot. He's like, okay, so we're going to go from hating on millennials to straight to immigration to Obama is part of ISIS to freaking nutrition because we can't think of anything else. Little liberal robots, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm pretty sure some millennials are not liberals. This is just invalid in general. Also, robots again. Robots. Did he just use cake as like a drug? Like he just said they were drugged with cake. If that's a drug, I want some drugs. But cake as a drug. Now you're going to go into the vaccination things, aren't you? You're going to go into vaccines and you're going to be crazy and crap. But I don't think they were raised on medications. Like no one just feeds their children medications all the time. At least this woman has a little bit of sense. Like this guy's an idiot.
No, they have not been. I don't know where you're...
Well, you mean your children haven't been. But I am not talking about your children. You're making it overly personal.
Now you're just going to go with further. I'm not talking about your children, even though you're talking about a large group. You can't... I wouldn't even say the majority of millennials, nah, not even like 1% of them are mindless zombies. This is not overly personal. This is just freaking straight up idiocy. There's no facts for this. You did not provide any evidence, any statistics, and neither did I. But still. I mean, because it's pretty obvious what I'm saying. It's common sense, almost.
I am talking about the larger population of millennials.
Millennials have not raised millennials.
He said that he's not generalizing them, but he's now saying it's the majority of millennials that are idiots and drug addicts and stuff.
It was a different generation that were raising the millennials.
No, I just was saying the same thing, and that other generation were lazy, and they would just as soon drug the child as raise the child. And then the child grew up on medication which destroyed their conscience.
So now he's not only calling out millennials, he's calling out the generations before millennials and the generations before them. So pretty much, he's calling out every single generation except for his. That's just the way he is, I guess. And now he's claiming that medication destroys people's conscience. So.
In many cases, that is my point.
Generation before them. This is a generational problem.
Well, we're saying the same thing, and you're going over and over about the same because it's not you or your children.
You're going over and over about the same thing, just like he is. He's going over and over about the same thing.
You're telling the entire audience that you did it differently. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying in general. You
don't even know her. How can you agree with her that she did it differently? You're just trying to do this so you can get her off trying to argue with you because you have no real argument to go against her.
General, the millennials are a vacuous generation of mindless children.
What I am trying to tell you...
And now you'll go back again and say it's their mother's fault, right?
I'm already going for the mother's fault. I mean, it would be both the parents, right? I'm just going to skip that.
No, I don't think it's the mother's fault. I think it's a generational problem that has been...
That's what I'm saying. It's been handed down. If there even is a problem, which I don't think there is, it's been handed down from generation to generation all the way back to you, fool. To you, the one smack talking about the generations in front of you. It is your fault also.
Handed down. Government has become...
Well, let's stop blaming the government. When you have a child that was raised... Well, let's stop blaming the government. When you have a... Well, let's stop blaming the government. When you have a...
Oh, God, the most hypocritical thing I've ever seen. It's like making me shake with anger. He said, let's stop blaming the government, after he literally said half of this video that it was the government and the government school system that has been brainwashing these children from birth. Let's not blame the government, though, eh?
Holding a device in his hand, or her hand, a robot walking down the street would have more brains than a child does with an iPhone in their hand who steps out in front of a car and expects the car to stop for them.
Now he's blaming Apple products and Samsung products, of course. Pretty sure the ENIAC computer has more brains than you do. No, they don't expect the car to stop for them. They expect to get hit. If they were outside of their own body, looking at their body walk across the street and a car coming when they're on their phones, they would not expect the car to stop.
Did you look at the parents that are going right next to the child? They're also on their devices.
That's what I just said. So we're agreeing. We're not disagreeing.
You're missing my point. I don't care.
Well,
Interruption.
what is your, I don't know what your point is. You're going in circles.
You're going in circles.
No, I'm not going in circles. You have consistently spoken about the millennials as being a worthless generation, and you are wrong. The generation prior to them is...
Well, let's stop with who caused this.
Let's stop with who caused this, even though I just brought up the fact that it was the liberal media, Obama, and the government school system, and the drugs, and everything else that caused these millennials to be terrible. Let's just stop talking about who caused this.
You're not telling me that this millennial generation has a morality to them, are you?
Oh no, the millennials have morality. Oh, scary, not the truth.
But the morality came from the generation before them.
Well, it doesn't matter who did it. I'm telling you.
Doesn't matter who did it, except for I just spent the entire video talking about that.
That I see them as a very dangerous
See, you see them. Focus on the you part. Nobody else sees them like that. I don't know, maybe there's some other really extreme people who see them like that, but I don't think anybody else sees them like that.
generation of soulless individuals who are permitting the country to melt down. All you're saying is that their parents are responsible.
Can I say one thing? They did not vote for what we have right now. The lion's share of what is going on went on long before these...
When have you last seen a millennial in a high school march against the rape and slaughter of women and children by ISIS? Tell me when.
Okay, we're just going to switch the topic because he doesn't want to argue anymore with her, so he's just going to switch to ISIS because that's his go-to point. Also, why would they march over that? That's not like a thing to march over or protest. You can't really protest to ISIS. You have to make a change yourself.
When? All you see them marching for is global warming and gay marriage. That's all that's on their mind. They're brainwashed robots.
I don't remember anybody ever marching for global warming or gay marriage. I mean, no, there was some for gay marriage at the vote for the legalization, but no, I'm pretty sure you're a brainwashed robot spitting out the same crap over and over and over like a machine. Like, I have a coding class. I understand. That's what machines do. You tell them to do something, and they spit it out over and over and over like this.
When is the last time you've seen any adult that would be in the category of the age of their later 40s, early 50s? What I'm trying to tell you is
but two wrongs don't make...
Okay, just cut her off again.
You're right. So you're telling me there's two generations in a row that are soulless and mindless. Is that what you're saying?
You said that. You said there are like 3 generations in a row that are soulless and mindless. Now you're just misconstruing her words.
What I am trying to tell you is to put all the blame on one generation when there is another generation.
It doesn't matter it doesn't matter where the blame falls. I made a generic statement that the millennials...
You did not make a generic statement. That's not generic.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing the word, and I'm sick and tired of catering to them, and I'm sick and tired of hearing what they think, because they don't think.
I'm sick and tired of hearing what you think. And this video is just about done, and I'm pretty happy about that. You don't think.
All they do is spew the data that they get off an iPhone or what's been put into their silly little heads in the public schools.
All you do is spew the data that's in your head. It's just idiocracy. It's stupidity. Just over. I don't know where you came up with this stuff, though, dude. I'm not going to say that that's been put into your head, but I don't know where you came up with it. Public schools again.
I am trying to get you to think of some...
All right, here we go. It's enough already. This woman is like a robot herself.
Now you're just gonna straight up throw her out the window. You're a freaking robot, man.
Oh, I think she's exactly the problem we were talking about. No matter what...
You're the problem.
What you say to her, again, like a broken record. Like a needle stuck in a vinyl record. I'll be right back.
That's you, though.
One thing I am really expert at is reading the tea leaves. I have the greatest stethoscope in social science. And I am telling you that these millennials, this millennial generation is so dangerous, people cannot even understand what's coming at them. They have no idea what's coming at them. I do. I've seen it before. I've read history. Only this generation is even worse. Because if you take a soulless, mindless generation and you add to it drugs and iPhones, no knowledge, just facts. No knowledge, just information.
That's actually kind of, I mean, no knowledge is the bad part, but just facts is actually pretty important. I mean, if you don't have facts to back up your statements, then what are your statements? Just bullcrap.
No wisdom, only facts. That's not a generation that I have much faith in.
I don't have much faith in you, and I'm tired of your crap. Goodbye.